So, this is basically the first Unity project I have taken seriously. And at the time working on this, I really planned on releasing it. But one day, I found, looking back at it now, a really simple error in the game. And back then, it was the hardest thing for me to fix. And I couldn't get it to work. I tried for so long, but one day, I quit the project and moved on. Even though it's till this day my best received project on sites like Reddit. So about a week ago I noticed how well my game actually was received. So I started again, and this time we're not calling it quits. If you're interested in what type of game this is, it's a metroidvania with some RPG elements, like a saving inventory and a very satisfying progression. There will also be some procedural generation, but that's for later. It's also in the very popular pixel art style that I sometimes enjoy even more than a modern looking 3D games style. Let me know how you like the pixel art in the comments, and let's jump right into the redesign I did on the game. Firstly, I worked on the inventory system, a very crucial part of the core game. I made it so you can drag and drop the items and even equip them with drag and dropping. I also made it so that the player stats update when you equip an item. That's also a thing I couldn't get to work back when I was first working on this project. You can also see the little stat display, which displays the player's stats. I also added that new, and the little tooltip, which will give you a chance comparing item stats. I haven't talked about the trade window on the right, which was originally planned to appear when speaking to an NPC. But I couldn't get it to work at this point, so it might not be in the game looking forward if I can't get it to work. This is the first dark enemy. The dark enemies will play a huge role in the game. I won't be spoiling any of the story here, but they will be the main enemy type you will be fighting against. So just as an example, I created this first dark enemy. It's a humanoid sized enemy that shoots dark balls at you. I also modeled another dark enemy that's basically just a little ball which explodes in your face, but it isn't in the game yet because I thought other things were more important. Also, another very interesting thing about this whole project is that my code structure and just code efficiency back then was way better than now. The code in this whole project is so carefully crafted and very efficient and good. That could be because I used a lot of tutorials back then, but I'm still pretty proud about the whole code situation. It's also modular and so easy to work with. I also use lots of scriptable objects, which I basically don't use now, but yeah, they're very good to work with. This is the underworld. The underworld is known for having lots of extending traps and also being hugely infected by dark enemies. The underworld is also pretty foggy and only lit by a couple of torches here and there. But it's only a beginner area and you won't need huge amounts of crazy loot to defeat the enemies in the underworld. These are some of the items I designed. I think having a good amount of items in a game is very crucial because it gives the player lots of different options and he can choose his own game style. For example, in my game, he could only choose items that give him speed and just run away from everything. Or the player could choose items that only give him damage, so he can deal with every threat. But to combat the issue with one player maybe choosing only items that give him massive amounts of speed, I will probably add an amount of enemies that need to be killed to proceed with the levels. That's probably gonna be in the later procedural generation levels, because in the first non-procedural generation levels there's always the boss at the end and you can't run away from them. I think lots of these items turned out really cool, and now one of my main objectives is balancing everything out, which could be a little tedious, but it's really fun in my opinion and one of the best things you can do in game development. So these are the totems. The totems will act like checkpoints. When walking past them it will recognize that and you will spawn there after you die. I also designed some fire coming out them when you activate them, but that's not in the game right now. So, and this is the first boss. Basically a bigger version and meaner looking version of the wild boar enemy. It's a pretty simple boss, no special attacks, no nothing, and it's also pretty easy to defeat, but it deals lots of damage when it hits you. It's easy to dodge, but the hits deal massive amounts of damage. In this recording it looks very easy to defeat, but this recording tricks you because it's really not that easy As you can see here, I almost got one shot. I got some damage before, but yeah, it deals so much damage. Anyways, this is just a small portion of what the game is really about and what the game will be about. I really enjoy working on this and I really want to finish it because I actually want to play it myself. Pretty funny, and I hope you enjoyed this video and you liked the pixel art and all that. Comment what you want to see in the game, and bye.